Hello, welcome, and welcome back. As a full preterist, I stand on the conviction that all biblical prophecy was fulfilled by AD 70, including the second coming, the resurrection, the final judgment, and the new creation. Look at Luke 21:20 to 22, quote, "But when you see Jerusalem surrounded by armies, then know that its desolation is near. Then let those who are in Judea flee to the mountains. Let those who are in the midst of her depart. And let not those who are in the country enter her. For these are the days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled." End quote. When dispensationalists insist Zechariah 12 to 14 is still future, I say, look at the bookends of Revelation. In Revelation 1:1, God says these things must soon take place. In Revelation 22:6, he repeats what must soon take place. And in 22:10, the time is near. That locks fulfillment into the first century. Zechariah 12 to 14 is part of that same imminent fulfillment. And let me show you. First, Zechariah 12:10, the piercing in the mourning. They will look on me, the one they have pierced, and mourn. John applies this to the crucifixion. The mourning, it's the national trauma of AD 70 when Israel realized the consequence of rejecting Messiah. Zechariah 13, the fountain for sin and the struck shepherd. Verse 1, quote, "A fountain opened for sin," end quote. That's the new covenant in Jesus' blood. Verse 7, strike the shepherd, the sheep scatter, end quote. Jesus quotes this at his arrest. The scattering happened. Then verses 8 to 9, two-thirds perish, one-third refined. That's the division in Israel. The majority perished in the Roman war. The believing remnant was saved. Now, the Mount of Olives in Zechariah 14:4. Dispensationalists want a future physical event, but in apocalyptic language, mountains symbolize kingdoms. The Mount of Olives is where Jesus ascended. His standing there signifies his authority. The splitting, the end of the old covenant world. The great valley, the new way open for the nations. Zechariah 14:5, the Lord comes with all his holy ones. These are the resurrected old covenant righteous the Lord called out of Sheol, plus the righteous who died during the transition period between AD 30 and 70. He completed their redemption. That's the parousia, the only second coming of Jesus prophesied in Scripture. And this occurred spiritually in AD 70. Jesus came with his glorified saints to execute judgment on Jerusalem. Zechariah 14:8 to 9, living waters flow. The Lord becomes king over all. The living waters are the gospel, now flowing freely because the temple system is gone. The Lord is king over all the earth. Christ's universal reign established after AD 70. And here's the crucial connection to Revelation. Revelation 22:1 to 2 shows the river of the water of life flowing from the throne. Then verse 17, the Spirit and the bride say, "Come." And let the one who hears say, "Come." Let the one who is thirsty come. Let the one who desires take the water of life without price. Who is the bride? The New Jerusalem, the church, the new covenant community, the body in whom Jesus, the new covenant temple, resides. And who is outside the city? See Revelation 22:15, quote, "But outside are dogs and sorcerers and the sexually immoral and murderers and idolaters and whoever loves and practices a lie." In a word, sinners. The Spirit and the bride are offering the water of life freely, the same fountain Zechariah 13:1 foretold. This invitation goes out after AD 70, once the old city is judged and the new city is revealed. So Zechariah's fountain isn't just a metaphor, it's the actual living water of the gospel, now offered to all because the old barriers are gone. Back to the bookends of Revelation. Revelation 1:1, things which must soon take place. Same for Revelation 22:6. And then Revelation 22:10, the time is near. So if soon and near don't mean within that generation, then language has no meaning. Jesus said, quote, "This generation will not pass away until all these things take place," in his Olivet Discourse. That includes Zechariah's prophecies. Therefore, Zechariah 12 to 14 was fulfilled in the events culminating in AD 70. The piercing of Christ, the fountain opened, the shepherd struck, the judgment on Jerusalem, the splitting of the old covenant mountain, the living waters flowing to the nations, the Lord becoming king over all. And now the Spirit and the bride invite everyone to drink freely. So, how do I answer the dispensationalist? I say your literalistic reading ignores the symbolic nature of apocalyptic prophecy. It also ignores Revelation's own time statements that lock these events into the first century. Zechariah 12 to 14 isn't a future geopolitical script. It's a prophetic picture of the climax of redemptive history, fulfilled when Jesus came in judgment, raised the dead, established his kingdom, and launched the new creation. Nothing remains future. The prophecy is complete. The water of life is offered freely today because the old city has fallen and the new Jerusalem is here. And for those who insist that Jesus must return to reign from a future rebuilt temple, complete with animal sacrifice, for a literal 1,000 years, see this conversation Jesus had with the Samaritan woman at the well in John 4:19 to 24. Quote, "The woman said to him, 'Sir, I perceive that you are a prophet. Our fathers worshipped on this mountain, and you Jews say that in Jerusalem is the place where one ought to worship.' Jesus said to her, 'Woman, believe me, the hour is coming when you will neither on this mountain nor in Jerusalem worship the Father. You worship what you do not know. We know what we worship, for salvation is of the Jews. But the hour is coming, and now is, when the true worshipers will worship the Father in spirit and truth. For the Father is seeking such to worship him. God is spirit, and those who worship him must worship in spirit and in truth. No worship ever to be centered in Jerusalem. In conclusion, as a full preterist, I affirm that Zechariah 12 to 14 was fulfilled by AD 70. The Mount of Olives splitting was the end of the old age. The day of the Lord was that generation's judgment. The fountain is now the water of life offered by the Spirit and bride. And Revelation's bookend time statements seal the deal. It's all happened soon, just as God said. So when someone tells you Zechariah hasn't been fulfilled, you can confidently reply it has, fully, and the invitation to drink is still open. Now, please post your comments down below, and I'm glad you listened in. Please subscribe if you haven't already. The number of subscribers is beginning to accelerate, and I thank you all very much, and I'm delighted. I'm out.